this is Paul from Twist and Shout, in episode number 7 of Tales of the Wall, where I talk about the various great posters and memorabilia and stuff we have on the walls here at Twist and Shout. Today I'm going to talk about the gigantic black and white photos that you've probably noticed lining the center cement wall of the store. They're all huge, at least 5 feet tall and probably 5 feet wide. And where I got them is kind of an interesting story. If you grew up in Denver, you probably remember Rocky Mountain Records, which was a 5-store chain. They had one in Boulder, one in Fort Collins, I think one in Greeley, a couple in Denver, one in the Cherry Creek Mall. I think the Cherry Creek Mall was the final one. And it was a big chain. They carried everything, and the one on the Boulder Mall is the one I remember the best. But anyway, in 1992, we went into business in 1988. I bought what was Underground Records and turned it into Twist and Shout. In 92, Rocky Mountain got purchased by Warehouse Records, who then closed a bunch of them, and I think they took it down to maybe 1 or 2. I think maybe just Cherry Creek in the Boulder. And the former owners of Rocky Mountain had a huge warehouse in Broomfield, I think. And someone called me and said, I don't know how they got my name, but I had Twist and Shout. And they said, we have this warehouse full of stuff. Do you want to come look at it? Obviously, I did. I went and looked at it, and I walked around this gigantic warehouse looking at what I thought was a bunch of crap. I mean, there were racks and wire displays and just, crappy CDs, just junk I didn't want. And so I wind myself through this like 3 or 4 room warehouse, and then I get to the last room, and the person who's walking me through, I can tell, is getting a little short of temper because I keep saying things like, what do I want this crap for? And then we get to the last room, and I look over against the wall, and I see behind a bunch of bins and racks and stuff, I see the top of a picture, and it is Charles Mingus's head with a huge cigar coming out of his mouth and his bass. And I say, what's that? And she goes, those are these big pictures we had on the walls of a couple of our stores. You wouldn't want those, would you? I said, yeah, that looks really cool. Let me go over there and look at those. So I go over and look, and it's a series of these gigantic black and white posters. Charles Mingus, Duke Ellington, John Lennon in about 1962, Vladimir Horowitz, an incredible photo of Vladimir Horowitz with a portrait of Leopold Stokowski behind him, amazing photo. Tina Turner, a 8-foot photo of Tina Turner with her legs being 6 feet of the 8. Lyle Lovett, Madonna, and who else? I know I wrote them down. Duke Ellington, Tina Turner, I guess that's it. And so I look at those, and they're like, well, if you're interested in those, I guess we could, Tom Petty was another one, we could sell you those. So I make a deal for those, and I buy them, and I think they're just incredible. And then on my way out, I also see a beautiful Victrola with a nickel horn, and I buy that. And then I also saw a Nipper dog, his master's voice dog, little coin bank porcelain about that big, and I got that, and a Led Zeppelin poster. So I got a few things, but the main thing were these gigantic black and white photos. So they were in the Alameda store. I think I had a couple of them up on Pearl Street, and then I got most of them up here. The only one that I think has not ever made an appearance is Phil Collins. He's upstairs still. There was a Tom Petty one, which I traded for a bag of weed to a guy who at the time was a drug dealer to the stars and is now pretty big in the music industry. But he wanted it to try to impress a girl, And that's the, other than that, I think I have them all. The one that's probably gotten the most attention is Tina Turner's Legs. Many people have been like, "Who's that?" And I always invariably say, "Can you not tell from the legs?" And they go, "Oh, is it Tina Turner?" And it is. The Mingus one I think is great. And then another interesting thing about these that we did a scavenger hunt once, and they asked me for the clues, and it was all things within the store that they had to find. And I said, okay, one of the clues will be, tell me at least 5 of who are on the big black and white photos. And it was younger folks who were in this scavenger hunt, and I'll tell you this, not one person knew who John Lennon was, and this was very disillusioning to me. But other than that, those are kind of a cornerstone of the look of Twist and Shout. It's easy to almost take them for granted because they fit in so well, and they're so cool. And it came from Rocky Mountain Records, and we've had them for a long time. And there it is, another Tale of the Wall. See you next time.